Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Making headlines this morning, the U.S. remains locked in the coronavirus crisis as the country is now on track to hit 400,000 lives lost as soon as today.
Outside with live cam, mid-40s here in town. Is rain still in the forecast? We will talk to Mike Osterhage coming up. Good morning, everybody. It is Monday. It is January 18th. It is MLK Day. Good morning. Hey, Sarah.
Good morning. Hey, Mark. Did you have a good weekend?
I did. How about you?
I had a great weekend. The weather was beautiful. It got up to about 70 degrees both Saturday and Sunday, and that's perfect for me because, Mike, I don't like it when we're in the 30s and 40s like we've seen. Is this warm weather going to stick around?
Come on, that toughens you up a little bit, Sarah. But
I know.
Yeah, yes, it will. However, there's one day that you're not going to like if you don't really like cool temperatures. First of all, starting off, depends on where you are this morning. We're at 41, but look at that. It drops down 10 degrees heading out toward Bernie Stage. 30 right now in Comfort, 40 in New Braunfels. I think we dropped down a few more degrees this morning. Most everybody is reporting clear skies as of right now. One thing you want to watch out for with these temperatures in the low 30s and dew point temperatures are running neck and neck. Just watch out in parts of the hill country, maybe for a little patch of fog here or there in some of the low-lying areas. Like I said, we've got some clear skies right now, but clouds are going to be hanging around here and sort of increasing throughout the day. Mountain Cedar, after really shooting up late last week, did come down, but it's still on the high side at 860. Molda is on the low side. And throughout the rest of today, we will see, like I said, more clouds throughout the day. Call it partly sunny skies, partly cloudy skies at times, sort of back and forth with the clouds. And yes, it will be mild again, 62 at noon and then 70 for a high temperature. Cloudy skies tonight. And then late tonight, we'll start to see a couple of rain chances move on in here. Pretty much rain throughout most of the day tomorrow. Still going to be warm. Then another front moves on through here. So Wednesday, as I like to say, kind of that grilled cheese and soup kind of day. Then it's going to warm right back up. By the way, also windy today. All the details for this week, which overall you'll like, Sarah. It's going to be on the warm side. Details in just a couple of minutes. Time saver traffic right now. Traffic authority, I beg your pardon. Samuel, I'll get that right.
Well, no, plenty of time, but we do have a couple of crashes this morning and some important ones. We'll start with the newest one just reported here. This is a rollover at 410 and Bandera, and you can see the traffic time on Bandera down to 27, or the speed down to 27 miles per hour. So there's going to be some delays on Bandera Road this morning. Here's another one here. This is I-10 Dazavala Road, or Dazavala, excuse me, and then you kind of see where there's a gap there in the data. That shows that the road is closed off. So traffic is going to have to exit on again, get back on at UTSA Boulevard. So that's going to be around for a while. Pretty major accident there. And you can see this travel time a little unusual for this time of morning on 281 coming in from Bulverde. There's still some residual construction this morning on 281. They've had construction there all weekend, but 26 minutes from New Braunfels, 26 minutes on I-10 from Bernie. And here's a look at I-10 and Dazavala on TransGuide, and you can see the activity there. Again, that's going to be closed off this morning, but thankfully there's not much traffic. Mark, Sarah, over to you.
Late breaking news now. Multiple crews on the scene of a fire on the west side. This is happening in 2000 block of Harness Lane and Rimfire. That's near Loop 410. Our Stephen Cavazos is live there with the latest. Stephen.
Well, good morning, Mark. We are still waiting to get some information from the San Antonio Fire Department, but from where we're standing, this home right behind us has been hit with some pretty serious damage. You can see that we still have fire crews that are out here working this scene. Now, it's not clear what caused this fire, but I have been speaking to neighbors in the area off camera who tell me that they've had to be evacuated from this home. Now, last night, a fire broke out in the same area around 8. SAFD initially told us that 2 people escaped the home with no injuries, and that fire caused $10,000 in damage. Now, that cause is still under investigation, and it's still not clear if this is the same fire. Again, we are waiting to get information from the San Antonio Fire Department, but stay with KSAT as we continue to bring you the latest. Mark, Sarah, over to you.
Thank you, Stephen. Well, a San Antonio man is charged with unlawfully entering the U.S. Capitol building during the riots last week. The San Antonio FBI confirms that arrest, but further details are still unavailable at this time. A law enforcement source said the man, who the FBI has not yet named, has been charged with unlawful entry into the Capitol building during the riot Wednesday, January 6th. An FBI spokesperson said more details could be coming as early as today on that case, including the man's identity.
Now to the pandemic, U.S. coronavirus death toll expected to reach 500,000 people by mid-February.
And many cities say they're running out of vaccines. ABC's Mona Karza Abdi has the latest.
This morning, as hospitals struggle with a surge of COVID patients, they're also struggling with the chaotic vaccine rollout.
At this point in the pandemic, what's keeping you up at night?
Vaccine rolling out fast enough and people not getting too ahead of it.
Mass vaccination sites are popping up from Hard Rock Stadium to Citi Field, even Disneyland. But with a crippled rollout plan, appointments are now overbooked.
I'm hearing word that there is a shortage of trained medical personnel all over the place. And so we're going to have to look to see if different vaccine sites can start to train people. This is also going to take more funding and better coordination so people know when to show up to their appointments and where to go.
The government is pushing for at least 50 million doses to be distributed by the end of January. So far, only 31 million have gone out. With the transition of power in Washington just days away, Joe Biden's team is promising to address the vaccine bottlenecks.
We're inheriting a huge mess here, Jake, but we have a plan to fix it and to make that vaccine supply go farther.
And now, another challenge. At least 20 states have confirmed cases of that more contagious UK mutation of COVID-19. Hospitals in England are seeing a new patient every 30 seconds. Mona Karza Abdi, ABC News, New York.
Well, over the last 7 days, Bexar County has seen exactly 14,500 new coronavirus cases. 1,676 of those cases are new. Our 7-day moving average is now at 2,071. That makes for a third consecutive day we've had a record average of more than 2,000 cases. This past week, 71 deaths were reported by Metro Health. In total, 1,809 people have died from this virus. Right now, 1,439 people are hospitalized. That's up 45 since the day before. 436 people are in the ICU. And 244 are on ventilators.
President-elect Joe Biden adding to his incoming administration just days before he becomes the 46th president of the United States. A source saying Biden is expected to nominate Gary Gensler to serve as commissioner of the Securities and Exchange Commission and Rohit Chopra to lead the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Gensler is a former Goldman Sachs executive. He is known for being an advocate for stricter regulation on big banks. Mr. Chopra is currently a member of the Federal Trade Commission. If confirmed, he'll return to CFPB, where he previously worked as a top student loan watchdog.
Meanwhile, ahead on Biden's inauguration, the nation's capital is virtually on lockdown. The FBI and law enforcement across the country are on high alert as more than 25,000 members of the National Guard are in Washington to protect against what some are calling domestic extremism. Thousands of armed troops and police officers have blocked off streets and put miles of barricade fencing in place. At the same time, defense officials say they are worried about an insider attack, which has prompted the FBI to vet all of those National Guard troops.
Two of the biggest lottery jackpots in the country keep getting bigger. No one won the Powerball jackpot after Saturday's drawing, sending the top prize to about $730 million. Mega Millions is also climbing sky high, as now at $850 million. Next Mega Millions drawing is tomorrow night. Next Powerball drawing is set for Wednesday night. Wow.
I've bought a ticket every drawing, the last 5 drawings, and still nothing, not even one number.
Now is not the time to give up, Sarah Costa.
All right.
Hang in
because
there.
of that, I might share.
Okay. All right. Could somebody put that on paper somewhere? We need some sort of legal backup.
Okay.
438, 44 degrees.
Well, still ahead, more details on an American teenager who spent weeks in jail for breaking quarantine in the Cayman Islands and now is back in the U.S.
Lots of NFL playoff action to recap from Sunday, including now a look ahead to the conference championships. We know who's playing for those spots in the Super Bowl. We'll have a recap next.
Take a look outside with live cam. 44 degrees on this crisp Monday MLK morning. Will things heat up? Are we going to see some rain this week? Mike will let us know when we come back.
Pro football coverage powered by Davis Law Firm.
On Sunday, it was down to the Final Four in this weekend's divisional matchups. Last night, Tom Brady's best game in 3 as he played the New Orleans Saints with his team. Buccaneers moving in on the NFL playoffs. Saints quarterback Drew Brees headed home, perhaps for good. Brady and the Bucs offense turned in 3 Saints turnovers, including 2 interceptions of Brees into touchdowns. That led to a 30-20 Tampa victory over New Orleans last night. Bucs are now off to the NFC Championship. That game will take place in Green Bay next week, where the 43-year-old Brady will try to advance to his 10th Super Bowl in a showdown with Packers All-Pro quarterback Aaron Rodgers. Kickoff is Sunday at 2:05. Now to the Browns and Chiefs. 25-year-old Baker Mayfield, Heisman Trophy winner out of Lake Travis, faced off against 25-year-old Tyler, Texas product Patrick Mahomes, who played at Tech and is now the reigning Super Bowl MVP. Chiefs rolled out to a 19-3 lead at the half, but things would get interesting in the third when Mahomes got tackled hard during a run. He was slow to get up and shaky when he did. Here's that play. He was taken out of the game and did not return due to the concussion protocol. Look how these players are having to help him up right there. After the game, head coach Andy Reid said Mahomes was okay. Browns do try to come back, but the Chiefs defense and backup quarterback Chad Henne kept the Super Bowl hopes alive with a 22-17 victory over Cleveland that advanced him to the AFC Championship game. Chiefs become the first AFC team to host 3 consecutive conference championships. They'll host the Buffalo Bills next Sunday. Coming off Saturday's win against the Houston Rockets at home, the Spurs are hitting the road once again. Later this afternoon, they take on the Trailblazers in Portland. Tip-off is at 2 p.m. Then Wednesday, they travel back to California for a game of the Golden State Warriors. That game starts at 9. The Spurs are back home Friday to take on the Mavericks and then the Washington Wizards on Sunday. Right now, it's 4:44. 44 degrees.
Still ahead, a look back at the life of one of the most influential producers in pop music history who passed away over the weekend.
And next, reaction from an American teen who had to spend weeks in jail in the Cayman Islands for violating quarantine protocols.
A teenager who spent weeks in jail for breaking quarantine in the Cayman Islands is now back on American soil. ABC's Janae Norman has the details in today's GMA First Look.
In this morning's GMA First Look, back on American soil.
Skylar, how do you feel to be back in the U.S.?
Very excited. Yeah.
Skylar Mack, the 18-year-old sentenced to 2 months behind bars in the Cayman Islands for breaking quarantine rules, is out of prison. Mack traveled to the Caribbean island November 27th and, per island rules, was required to quarantine for 14 days. But after 2 days in isolation and a negative COVID test, Skylar removed her wrist monitor, breaching quarantine to watch her boyfriend, a professional jet skier, compete in a race. But after a legal back and forth, the couple was sentenced to 2 months in prison. And coming up at 7 a.m., we'll tell you more about how Skylar Mack is adjusting to life outside her jail cell. With your GMA First Look, I'm Janae Norman, ABC News, Atlanta.
Time check 4:48.
We're going to check in with Samuel King. Samuel, you were saying that there were some problems.
Yeah, some problems this morning. The only good thing about the missed traffic is still relatively light at this hour. The first one we'll tell you about here is this is I-10 at De Zavala Road. You can see that the lane blockage there. There was a major crash and they're still investigating. We'll show you a look at that in TransGuide in a moment. We also still have this one going on here. This is Bandera at Loop 410. As you can see, the slowdown there down to 39 miles per hour in some stretch. And here's a look at that situation on TransGuide right now. You can see the I-10 at De Zavala Road, and you can see that traffic is starting to pick up, Mark and Sarah. So people heading out this morning, maybe they have to work or run some errands on this holiday weekend or this holiday morning. That's something they'll have to watch out for.
Thank you, Samuel. And Mike Ostrage is going to walk into the shot here. And this is probably the cutest tracksuit in the history of mankind.
So cute.
I was staying out of that shot just so you could just see that little pup. Look at how adorable. It's one of those just because. Just to brighten your day and just as cute as can be. And Mila has now, let's see, first birthday was last week. She is raring to go. What a beautiful picture. Thank you very much for the KSAT Connect picture. All right, yeah, sensational weekend, and this morning is starting off pretty nice. A lot of clear skies are being reported as of right now. One thing, though, as I mentioned off the top, watch out just for maybe a little patch of fog here or there, because we've got cold temperatures, and relative to those temperatures, the humidity is high off there to the west, so just be on the lookout for that. Now, throughout the day, the humidity is going to definitely start to come up. That's going to help with the cloud cover around here, and then later on overnight, I think we start to see some showers trying to develop. Then tomorrow, and the timing of this front a little iffy right now. It looks like it's going to be sometime in the afternoon hours. Most computer models are kind of holding off till later in the afternoon. This particular one has it coming through a little bit quicker, but what it's going to be doing is pulling in much drier air around here, but that doesn't mean any rain is going to come to an end, because we'll still have kind of an overrunning situation. So all it's going to be doing is big change in the temperature. It's going to be warm and wet tomorrow, going to be cold and wet on Wednesday. Here's what the computer models look like as far as the rest of today. We'll have sort of a mixture of some sunshine and clouds around here, and then overnight clouds are definitely going to start to develop. So this morning a dry commute, tomorrow morning, Wednesday, and maybe even Thursday is going to be a different story. Tomorrow is definitely going to be a wet commute in places, and throughout the day we will continue to see those showers and even a couple of thunderstorms. Now watch it right along that line there. That's that front moving on through, but we still get some of the rain kind of sliding on top of that, and that will be the situation into Wednesday as well, and maybe a couple of straggling showers around here on Thursday, and Thursday, Friday, kind of a lull in the action. Then we'll have more, albeit smaller, rain chances coming in here for the weekend. And as far as temperatures overall, this is going to be a warm week, with one exception. 62 degrees today, mostly cloudy skies at noon. Some folks will still be seeing a fair amount of sunshine around here, so just call it a mixture of sunshine and clouds. 70 for high temperatures, so like over the weekend, very mild, very pleasant. It is going to be breezy. Wind's going to start to pick up out of the south, about 15, 20 miles per hour, gusting on top of that. Now, tomorrow, we are going to be seeing, got the extra little graphic in there on Thursday, but tomorrow we are going to be seeing rain chances, about a 70% chance for some rain, and then the front's going to move through later on in the day, and that's going to shift the wind around. Still going to be breezy. We'll still have showers and thunderstorms around here. I don't know where all of these graphics, I apologize on these. That was supposed to be for Inauguration right there. I will double check on that, but just look at the bottom. The number is 55, so cold and wet on Wednesday, and then we warm back up. A little bit of a lull in the action Thursday, Friday, and then we will see some more showers around here, at least a couple of scattered showers by the weekend.
But Dr. King, today that is 100% correct.
That's the one that's correct on there. I apologize for that. It's a Monday morning.
It is. Thank you very much, Mike. It's 4:52, so awfully early, 44 degrees. You're watching GMSA.
And up next, find out if Liam Neeson had what it took to get people back out to the movies this weekend with his latest flick, The Marksman.
Here are the lottery numbers that Sarah can play next time around. Pick 3, 480, Fireball 4. Daily 4 numbers 9504, Fireball 2.
Cash 5, 8, 10, 26, 27, 30. Texas Lotto 8, 13, 16, 23, 26, 51. Here's the big one. Powerball 14, 20, 39, 65, 67. Powerball 2, Power Play 3.
An infamous pop music producer is remembered, and a new Liam Neeson movie is in theaters.
For the latest on what's happening in Hollywood, here's ABC's Chris Watson.
One of the most influential producers in pop music history, Phil Spector, has died at age 81. His wall of sound studio mastery revolutionized recording and produced hits for the Righteous Brothers, the Ronettes, and more in the 60s.
Let it be, let it be.
Spector worked with John Lennon and George Harrison of the Beatles after producing the band's final studio album, Let It Be. In 2003, he was accused and later convicted of murdering actress Lana Clarkson and sentenced to 19 years to life in prison in California. Check out Morgan Freeman's Instagram page Monday. The actor plans to celebrate Martin Luther King Jr. Day with a dozen hourly videos he narrates about the late civil rights icon's words, life, and legacy.
She must have had a lot of faith in you.
Liam Neeson's The Marksman debuted in first at the pandemic box office with a $3.2 million weekend take. And Kevin Costner is 66 Monday. And that's what's happening in Hollywood. I'm Christopher Watson, ABC News.
1.5 hour down, Sarah Costa. It's 4:57, 44 degrees.
Still ahead on GMSA, the latest on security at the U.S. Capitol ahead of Joe Biden's Inauguration Day.
Plus, new technology allowing some employers to track your emotional state. Details ahead in Tech Bytes.
Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Washington is on high alert with 2 days to go until President-elect Biden's inauguration. I'm ABC's Elizabeth Schulze. The latest on the security efforts coming up.
And this morning, it is somewhat crisp out there right now. Lots of clouds and a bit on the cool side. If you forgot what rain looks or sounds like, you're not alone. Mike will have an update in his forecast. Good morning to you. It is Monday. It is January 18th. It is MLK Day. Sarah, good morning to you.
Good morning and happy MLK Day to all our viewers out there. And it's funny, Mark, that you said we've forgotten what rain smells, sounds like, looks like. So has my yard. It is very brown, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, just join the club on that one. So, but we are going to be seeing some fairly decent rain around the area in the next couple of days. Right now, we are starting off, and kind of depends on where you are. 41 degrees, and the dew point's at 31. Winds out of the kind of the northwest a little bit, and we did start to see a couple of clouds move on in here. A lot of the area, though, is seeing some clear skies as of right now, but we will have more clouds throughout the rest of the day, and it's going to be another warm one, kind of a continuation of the weekend, except looks-wise, not quite as pretty as what we had yesterday, which was absolutely fantastic day. The aquifer went up 1/10 of a foot, and as far as the allergens, mountain cedar is still on the high side, but boy, it came down a whole bunch from those 5 digits that we saw late last week after those strong fronts moving on through here. We do have another front in the forecast, though, and that's going to help out with some of those rain chances. And you take a look, a quick peek at the next week, and as you can see, we do have rain coming in here midweek, and we're going to do a bit of a roller coaster. Very mild today, and then a front's going to move through, and that's going to be a big dip down. So Wednesday is going to be the cold, wet day, and then it's going to be on the warmer side. So overall warmer this week. Couple of showers, even a few more showers coming in here this weekend, but the best chance of rain, of course, is going to be tomorrow as well as Wednesday. So dry commute as of right now, but the next couple of days could be a little bit on the damp side. So the gentleman on the other side of the studio may have his hands full the next couple of days. Traffic Authority, Samuel King, got a little bit going on this morning, though, too.
Yeah, I already have my hands full this morning. Can't wait to see what the rest of the week brings. We have these two situations here, one on Loop 410, one on I-10 up near 1604. And let's start there. This has been going on for a couple of hours now. You can see there's 47 miles per hour. The traffic is flowing. A couple of lanes blocked off because we had an earlier crash there at I-10 at 8 Days of Ella Road. Now let's take a look here at Loop 410 at Bandera Road. We had a rollover here, so that's causing delays on Bandera. You can see traffic down to 34 miles per hour there. Taking a look at some other travel times in the region. If you're coming in from Bernie on I-10, 25 minutes. Into downtown, 26 minutes from New Braunfels, 17 minutes on 35 from Lytle. And here's a look again at the scene on I-10. You can see the investigation out there continues, so that's something to watch out for this morning. Mark and Sarah, back to you.
An update on late-breaking news now. Multiple fire crews remain on the scene of a house fire. This all happening in the 2000 block of Harness and Rimfire. That's off 410 over on the west side. Stephen Cavazos is live with more. And Stephen, is this the same area where a fire broke out last night?
Well, that's right, Mark. We just received information from the San Antonio Fire Department that this is the same home that broke out, where a fire broke out last night. Now, fire crews initially tell us that the home that fire caused about $10,000 in damage, but just take a look this morning. We are seeing more damage towards the back of the home and around the home. Fire crews say that this is now a total loss. Now, when crews arrived back on the scene this morning, they found flames cutting through the roof of the home. SAFD says they're not sure if this is a rekindle of that same fire, but investigators will be on the scene. And arson is expected to arrive later this morning. Now, we have spoken to neighbors off camera who told us they've had to be evacuated from their homes. Now, again, this home is considered a total loss, and we've also been told that no injuries were reported at the start of this fire. Reporting live on the city's west side, Stephen Cavazos, KSAT 12 News. Mark, Sarah.
A massive security operation is now in place in Washington, D.C. ahead of President-elect Joe Biden's inauguration on Wednesday.
The nation's capital is virtually on lockdown, with authorities saying a peaceful transfer of power is the top priority. ABC's Elizabeth Scholze is in Washington with the latest.
2 days to go until President-elect Joe Biden's inauguration, a fortified Washington on high alert. Streets blocked, barricades set up, and thousands of National Guard members on patrol.
This mission is about protecting our republic itself.
Up to 25,000 National Guard members will be in D.C. this week, some setting up cots inside the Capitol, each one getting vetted because of concerns about a potential insider threat. Authorities warn domestic extremists are the biggest risk, not just in Washington, but at state capitals nationwide.
How serious is our country going to take domestic white extremism? And I think what we saw here last week is that we didn't take it seriously enough.
The Capitol building's perimeter tested over the weekend, with at least 3 people arrested in separate incidents, including 2 men carrying guns and ammunition.
Go, go, go!
And now new footage of the insurrection filmed by the New Yorker's Luke Mogelson. Rioters looking for lawmakers banging on doors.
Defend your Constitution! Defend your liberty! Defend your Constitution! Defend your liberty!
A Capitol police officer begging the mob to leave the Senate chamber.
Okay, just want to let you guys know this is like the sacredest place.
I know. Hey, no, I'm going to take it serious.
That man, Jacob Angeli, now arrested along with dozens of others. The FBI says it's combing through more than 150,000 pieces of digital evidence as investigations into the insurrection continue. And rehearsals for President-elect Biden's inauguration are set to begin today after they were delayed because of security concerns. Elizabeth Scholze, ABC News, Washington.
Well, the city of San Antonio frustrated after having to announce vaccine appointments scheduled for today at the Alamo Dome have been pushed back to Wednesday due to Pfizer's delayed shipment. Mayor Ron Derenberg says the shipment was about 9,000 doses for the Dome vaccination site. He says at this time they do not know why the delays happened, but know it's a critical point during the pandemic.
Our population is disproportionately vulnerable in the 1A and 1B categories. So we're doing, the community is showing what it needs to in order to get more vaccines distributed to San Antonio. We just need leaders to do that.
The mayor says those who are scheduled for today will be notified about a new vaccination date on Wednesday by phone or email.
Well, Lavernia family is leaning on the community to help with the return of their daughter's service dog named Blade. Blade helped 16-year-old Caitlin Boviard physically and emotionally. Caitlin suffers from Down syndrome and has had to have major reconstructive surgeries on both of her hips. Sadly, a month and a half ago, a thunderstorm scared Blade, causing him to run off with no traces left behind.
Our hope is just that maybe someone didn't realize that he was our dog, and maybe through seeing this they will realize how important it is that they get him back to Caitlin, because he's irreplaceable.
Well, since his disappearance, a family has hung up countless flyers, reached out to vets, animal shelters, and several in their community to help with the search of Blade. With the help of a nonprofit organization, the family is now offering a $2,000 reward for his return.
And we're continuing to get the word out this morning. Right now it's 5:08, 44 degrees.
Well, still ahead, why Facebook has decided to block events near the White House and near the U.S. Capitol leading up to Inauguration Day.
And next, how this year's MLK March in San Antonio is looking a lot different, but still is just as important.
Absolutely, but let's take a look outside with live cam. 44 degrees. It is cold out there this morning, but is some much needed rain on the way this week. Mike will let us know when we come back.
.512, welcome back to GMSA. Every year, hundreds of thousands of people march in the name of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. on San Antonio's east side.
While the pandemic has undoubtedly affected the 52-year tradition, the MLK Commission tells our Max Massey why this year was more important than ever to make sure the march happens in some form or fashion.
This past year, with the killing of George Floyd,
Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery. It's important that we continue to celebrate the life and legacy of Dr. King.
Like most events in the past year, the city's annual MLK March, one of the largest in the country, is going virtual.
We kind of knew we were not going to be able to social distance 300,000 people come January 2021.
Renee Watson, the commission chair for the march, says although safety is paramount, the march has always been about the issues, leaving no time for rest this year.
DACA is an issue for our community. Black Lives Matter is an issue for our community. We have a lot of issues that we're still dealing with. The issue of this ravaging COVID in underserved communities that we have. So all of those issues are still issues that Dr. King would have been looking at.
So Watson initiated a native filmmaker to replicate the feeling of marching to Pittman Sullivan Park.
You're going to hear from activists. You're going to hear from faith leaders. You're going to hear from community leaders. You're going to see those performances that you've always loved to come out and see.
Smith says he's been a part of the march for as long as he can remember. Now he's tasked with creating a unique experience he hopes will last for years to come, and he hopes will inspire San Antonians to continue the dream.
I think that if we had not made a film this year and the march was just completely canceled, you lose momentum, right? This is a moment. This is a moment again for people to get out and fight. This is a moment for people to really get out and get involved in their community, to get involved with the issues that really matter. And I think that when they watch this film, they're going to feel charged and challenged to get out there and do it.
Max Massey, KSAT 12 News.
Well, Smith and Watson also encourage people to each shop and hire local to help with the financial burden the pandemic has had on vendors and organizations that would otherwise be part of the festivities.
The film debuts today. You can live stream it on the City of San Antonio's Facebook and YouTube pages beginning at 10 a.m. But we knew the tradition would endure somehow, didn't we, Sarah?
Absolutely.
Right now it is 5:14, 44 degrees.
Well, still ahead, Facebook continues their blocking trend, now targeting events scheduled in the nation's capital on Inauguration Day.
And next, if this sounds strange to you, it probably is. More details on a device that lets employers track your emotional state.
With United Healthcare Medicare Advantage plans, there's so much to take advantage of, like $0 copays on virtual visits.
Wow.
$0 copays on primary care visits and lab tests.
Wow.
Plus, $0 copays on hundreds of prescription drugs.
Wow.
United Healthcare Medicare Advantage plans, including the only plans with the AARP name. Most plans have a $0 premium. It's time to take advantage.
Wow.
At Panera, when we make a pizza, we don't just make a pizza. We use fresh, clean ingredients to make a masterpiece. Order our new pepperoni and 4-cheese flatbread pizzas for delivery or pickup today. Panera.
For skin as alive as you are, don't settle for silver. 7 moisturizers, 3 vitamins, 24-hour hydration. Gold Bond. Champion your skin.
In today's Tech Bites, Facebook is blocking certain events through Inauguration Day. People won't be allowed to create any event taking place near the White House, the U.S. Capitol building, or state houses across the country. The goal is to keep the platform from being used to organize violent attacks. And dating apps are swiping left on suspected Capitol Hill rioters. According to the Washington Post, Bumble, Tinder, and other dating apps are using images from the attack to identify and block people known to have participated. And there's a wristband that lets your employer track your mood. The goal is to monitor how workers are coping while they're working from home. The Moonbeam has 2 buttons. One you press if you're happy, another for when you're sad. The information goes to your manager in real time. And those are your Tech Bites. Have a great day.
Mark, I'm just checking on your mood.
What's that?
I'm checking on your mood.
I'm good. I'm good. You?
I'm good, but they don't have a button for like anxious, like ugh.
Not yet.
You know?
Don't be anxious about the anxious button or lack thereof.
I know. It just my palms are already sweating about it.
You're giving into the anxiety.
Oh my God.
Oh, live TB therapy is fun for everybody, isn't it?
It is. Samuel King, are you feeling anxious this morning at all?
Oh, a little bit, but not as much as people who are traveling on I-10 this morning. They're dealing with a closure. If you're heading out and about here, you have some lanes blocked there at 10 West at De Zavala Road, and that's been going on now for about an hour and a half now, and police are still on the scene investigating. Later on I-10, going farther west, there's going to be some lane closures on the HOV lanes between La Cantera Parkway and Ralph Fair Road. That's from 9 to 3 throughout the week. They're doing some ongoing work out there. We had a rollover at Bandera and Loops 410 earlier. That seems to be clearing, but we can still see the residual delays, 13 minutes now on Bandera between 604 and 410. And here's TransGuide, a look there again at I-10. You can still see the police activity out there. So hopefully that wraps up before traffic picks up too much. But again, the good thing is it is a holiday weekend. This could be a lot worse, guys.
That is true. And the good news also is they have that incident up on TransGuide this morning. Mike's joining us now with a beautiful crescent moon behind you there.
It is the waxing crescent. It's going to be a full moon on the 28th, so just about a week or a little more than a week away. Beautiful picture. As far as moon gazing the next couple of evenings, no, probably not, just because we got a lot of clouds, and we're already starting to see a few clouds. You can kind of make them out a little bit there along the horizon. Temperatures, this is actually normal low, 41 degrees. A little bit cooler in the hill country, although temperatures went up slightly. We do have a breeze coming in here, and it's going to be shifting around to the south later on today, and that's really going to help to pump the humidity on in here, and it is actually going to be on the breezy side. So humidity over the next couple of days, it will start to go up today going into tomorrow. Then we get this dip right in here, and Wednesday is going to be kind of a cold, damp day. Tomorrow is just going to be warm and wet. Wednesday, cold and wet. Then that's only going to last for one day. Then we're going to be back on the milder side, and we'll keep a fair amount of humidity around. Lots of clouds around here, as well as some more rain chances, I think, going in toward the weekend. But the best rain chances are going to be the next couple of days. Here's computer model. We've got, again, a couple of clouds around here. They'll be sort of increasing throughout the day. We'll see sort of a mixture of sunshine and clouds. Then they really start to thicken up overnight. We may actually see a couple of showers late tonight, but then by this time tomorrow morning for the commute, looks like we will have some more rain around the area. And that's going to be continuing on throughout the day. And then watch later on in the afternoon, a line right there. Kind of blink and you miss it, but that was the front moving on through here. Wind's going to be shifting around, but it's not one of those that clears things out, because we still have kind of an overrunning situation, which means you get the front down here at the surface, but it's very shallow. We still have the moisture, the clouds, and the rain sliding in on top of it, and so that's why we keep the rain around here. And as you can see, the flow coming in here and all this moving from southwest up to northeast on top of that. And that'll be throughout the day Wednesday. A couple of lingering showers into Thursday. Then things will start to kind of taper off a little bit. Still maybe a scattered sprinkle early Thursday, and perhaps one or two of them then late Friday. But I think we start to see then another chance of rain coming in here on the weekend. This week's going to be an overall pattern change. Last week it was the big low around the Great Lakes, the high off to the west. We had a northwesterly flow. Now that sort of just flip-flops, and that low is going to be developing back down there to the southwest of us, and that's going to continue to throw energy in our direction. That's why everything comes in here from southwest up to northeast, and that'll be sticking around through midweek, kind of dying off a little bit toward the end of the week. Then another big trough develops out there to the west, and that's going to throw more moisture in our direction and give us that smaller chance of rain by the weekend. 62 today at noon, mostly cloudy skies. Some folks will still be seeing a fair amount of sunshine here and there, and then high temperature today up to 70. So once again, like yesterday, we will be definitely on the warm side of things. Normal high being about 63 right now. And then we get into tomorrow, and that's when the rain starts to pick up. Mid 60s, really good chance for some rain. Windy again. Winds ahead of the front are going to be out of the south. Front comes through, shifting around to the north. Then colder air moves on in here. So 55, that's going to be about it on Wednesday. Just a wet, cold kind of a day. That won't last very long, because temperatures come back up above normal by Thursday, and it's going to be milder going into the weekend. And then a couple of those showers still hanging around here over the weekend.
Mike, I didn't check your mood. Are you okay?
I mean, you're here. I mean, we see Sarah Acosta. Who could be in a bad mood?
Thank you, Mike.
You're here, which balances out the fact that I'm here.
Our little bit of sunshine, yes.
Thank you, Mike. 524, 44 degrees.
Well, next in your morning spotlight, a look at a new show featuring a famous civil rights leader, plus the one-on-one, the one and only Betty White is celebrating a big birthday.
Let's review your lottery numbers. Pick 3, 480, Fireball 4. Your daily 4 numbers, 9504, Fireball 2.
Cash 5, 8, 10, 26, 27, 30. Texas Lotto 8, 13, 16, 23, 26, 51. And Powerball 14, 20, 39, 65, 67. Powerball 2, Power Play 3.
Phil Spector has died in prison of natural causes. The famed record producer was convicted of second-degree murder in 2009 and sentenced to 19 years to life in prison for the fatal shooting of actress Lana Clarkson. Spector, known for his wall of sound recording style, produced songs by the Beatles, the Ronettes, and the Ramones, among others. He was 80.
You brothers, you could move mountains without lifting a finger.
One Night in Miami is now streaming on Amazon Prime and was inspired by a 1964 meeting between Malcolm X, Jim Brown, Sam Cooke, and Muhammad Ali. Kingsley Ben-Adir, who played Malcolm X, says audiences will get to know a different side of the civil rights leader.
It was a really unique opportunity to show a vulnerable side to Malcolm and a human side, the father, the husband.
Well, I think I've been lucky enough to do just about so much.
Betty White celebrated her 99th birthday Sunday. The veteran actress tells People magazine that the key to having a long and happy life is having a sense of humor and looking on the positive side of things. In Hollywood, I'm Douglas Hyde.
Hard to get mad at her because she...
Happy birthday, Betty White.
And her mood is always happy.
Yes, it is. 528, still 44 degrees.
Well, still ahead on GMSA, a new warning from health experts who say the U.S. could see 500,000 COVID-19 deaths by the middle of next month.
If you need a fun new job, how about driving the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile? We'll tell you how you can apply coming up. Right now, 5:31. Good morning, everybody. It is Monday. It is January 18th, MLK Day.
Happy MLK Day to everyone and all of our viewers. Thank you for waking up with us this morning. Always a pleasure to be joining the Monday through Friday GMSA team. And Mike, is it going to be a cheery day or it's going to be a little cloudy maybe as we lead up to some potential rain? Oh, is that what it looks like outside?
Nope. I've got something. Well, one of my live cams kind of messed up somehow. Anyway, sorry about that. I was trying to adjust that, but we have got a temperature of 41 degrees. Dew point is at 31, and the air is still fairly dry. Now, as far as cloud cover, I was hoping that this picture was going to show you that we do have some clouds out there this morning, and we are going to be seeing more. And boy, things are just not wanting to kind of work for me here. Come on, button. Anyway, what I can tell you is we are going to see more clouds throughout the day, and temperatures are still going to be on the warm side, up to 70, kind of like what it was yesterday. But again, sort of a mixture of sunshine and clouds here and there. And then late tonight, we're going to start to see things really thicken up, cloud cover, and then a couple of showers going to be working their way on into the picture. And tomorrow, pretty much rain all day long, mild, but a front's going to move through later on in the day, and then get ready for Wednesday because it's going to be a cold and wet day. But that's the only day, and it's back to the mild side. So we'll talk about rain chances and then take a look ahead. Never too soon to look ahead to the weekend. Again, details in just a couple of minutes. Traffic Authority, Samuel King, and you've already had some problems on the road this morning, huh?
Yeah, Mike, we still have this situation on I-10 west here, just south of 1604. At Days of Olive Road, you can see now things look to be improving. No, these lanes here were blocked, about 2 or 3 lanes, but now you can see traffic starting to move. And let's take a look at that at TransGuide. Right now, you can still see that investigators are still on the scene of the crash, but again, looks like traffic is starting to flow a little bit better. And the good thing is, again, that this is a holiday, so not as much traffic on the roads at this hour in any event. 25 minutes if you're coming southbound on I-10 from Bernie, 20 minutes on 90 from Castroville, and 28 minutes on 281 coming in from Belle Verde. Mark and Sarah, over to you.
Thank you, Samuel. Well, an update on late breaking news. 2 fires happening in one home and just hours apart. Fire crews were called back to a home in the 2000 block of Harness and Rimfire off of Loop 410, the same home where a fire broke out last night. Stephen Cavazos has more details about this investigation.
Now, we're told that the original fire caused about $10,000 in damage, but just take a look over here. This morning's fire, we're told, has led to a total loss of the home. Now, the San Antonio Fire Department arrived this morning to find the home fully engulfed in flames. They say it's still not clear if the fire is a rekindle from last night, but investigators remain on the scene and arson is expected to arrive later this morning. Now, again, as we've told you earlier, that fortunately no injuries have been reported. However, the cause of this fire still remains under investigation. Reporting on the city's west side, Stephen Cavazos, KSAT 12 News.
President-elect Joe Biden says he is focusing on getting 100 million doses of COVID-19 vaccine within this first 100 days of his administration.
This as the pandemic is claiming thousands of lives each day, according to Johns Hopkins University. CNN's John Lawrence reports.
As the U.S. prepares for a new president to take office with a plan to attack the COVID-19 pandemic, the nation's death toll is nearing the 400,000 mark. The incoming director of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says the U.S. has some dark weeks ahead.
By the middle of February, we expect 500,000 deaths in this country. That doesn't speak to the tens of thousands of people who are living with a yet uncharacterized syndrome after they've recovered.
As vaccines slowly roll out, the U.S. is struggling to get the upper hand on the pandemic, especially in parts of California, where state officials say Los Angeles is the first county in the nation to report more than 1 million cases. Around 14,000 of those have died.
It feels like you're waking up to a nightmare every day. It's hard to imagine that many people passing away, and each one of those is a story. It's a family.
The CDC reports at least 88 cases of a highly contagious coronavirus variant, first identified in the UK, were confirmed in 14 states, and that the country has yet to see the full ramifications of spread caused by holiday travel.
It's going to take weeks, if not months, to do the setup things that are necessary. We're all going to have to be patient. I do think we'll get there, but it's going to be hard.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
On his final full day in office, President Donald Trump plans to issue around 100 pardons and commutations. The president reportedly pardoned white-collar criminals, high-profile rappers, and others tomorrow. For now, the president is not expected to grant himself a pardon. Yesterday, the White House held a meeting to finalize the list of pardons. It's the last batch to be made unless the president decides to grant pardons to controversial allies, members of his family, or potentially himself. The pardons are one of several items the president must complete before his presidency ends on Wednesday.
Well, the death toll from Indonesia's 6.2 magnitude earthquake has now climbed to 81 as search and rescue operations continue. Friday's powerful earthquake damaged over 1,000 homes and 15 schools at the epicenter of it. And to avoid the spread of COVID-19 there, authorities have deployed rapid antigen tests for the displaced in evacuation camps. They have also separated those at high risk in the camps. Indonesia has reported over 900,000 coronavirus cases and almost 26,000 deaths since the pandemic started.
A tragedy on top of a tragedy. Right now it's 5:37, 44 degrees.
Well, still ahead, need a new job? Yes. How about being a hot dogger on the famous Wienermobile? More details ahead.
And next, a closer look at why it's been so tough for San Antonio to attract another professional sports team.
It's because we love our Spurs so much. They're our only little favorite child. Also, favoring this weather, 44 degrees. Mike says things will warm up nicely, but what about rain in our future? He'll let us know about that when we come back.
Welcome back to Good Morning San Antonio. Just about 5:41. San Antonio, of course, is a major city with a lot to offer. But when it comes to attracting another professional sports team, so far, we haven't been very successful.
It's the topic of this week's episode of KSAT Explains. Here's Myra Arthur with a preview.
When you think of San Antonio sports, you no doubt think the Spurs. Loyalty to the silver and black runs deep.
They're an organization that is embedded in the lifeblood of our community. They are there when we are in hardship. They're there when we're in celebration.
But for years, city leaders have tried to attract another pro sports team with little luck. We're the 7th most populous city in the U.S. and growing every year. We're the 31st largest television market, and we've got that team spirit. In many ways, we seem well equipped to support another franchise.
San Antonio has a young population. San Antonio has a diverse population.
San Antonio has a population, I think, that's going to spend on sports.
So why can't San Antonio catch and keep another team?
I think a lot of it goes back to financial support. Just about every failed franchise that has come into San Antonio is generally the reason is financial or lack thereof financial support somewhere down the line.
We have tended to grow the same companies and same families' businesses in San Antonio for too long. Those things have really been what has held us back in terms of getting an NFL or Major League Baseball or hockey or any other kind of professional soccer or those kinds of sports leagues.
In this episode of KSAT Explains, we're taking a look back at our storied sports history and a look forward at how well positioned we are to attract another team in the future.
Well, KSAT Explains Pro Sports in San Antonio will be available to stream this Thursday on our website. It will also be available on the KSAT TV apps on Roku, Fire Stick, and most other streaming devices.
You know, Sarah, one of the other frustrating things after many years here in San Antonio has been watching some teams court San Antonio or flirt with the idea of coming here only to use San Antonio as leverage for better deals in their home cities or other markets. Take the Raiders, for example. Always wanted a better deal there in Oakland, wound up in Las Vegas with, you know, of course, $2 billion stadium. But what are they? Was it always the bride, never? Always the bridesmaid, never the bride?
I know.
Yeah.
It is tragic, but you know, I'm hopeful. You know, there's a lot of fish out there in the sea, and we will find our true love.
So San Antonio should keep dating.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
Open-minded.
543, 44 degrees.
Well, don't you wish you could drive the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile? Yes, this would be a dream come true. We'll tell you how you can next.
More and more people are leaving California and coming to states like Texas. Even one of the most wealthy celebrities, Elon Musk of SpaceX and Tesla fame, has recently moved here.
Our Max Massey has more details on an interesting survey by U-Haul on the most popular destinations out of California. And can you believe this? Texas is not number one.
According to a recent story published in the San Francisco Chronicle, new data from moving equipment company U-Haul shows far more trucks left California than entered in 2020. The state ranks last on the company's list of migration growth for 2020. So who ranks first? In this reverse gold rush out of California, the U-Haul survey showed most people are going to Tennessee. Texas ranking number 2, followed by Florida, Ohio, and Arizona. U-Haul says this is the first time Tennessee has been number 1 and the 5th time Texas has been number 2. Texas had the largest net gain of one-way U-Haul trucks for 3 consecutive years before Florida flipped the order and became number 1 last year. U-Haul executives say Tennessee is similar to Texas and that it has no state income tax, very business friendly, and there are plenty of jobs. Growth states are calculated by the net gain of one-way U-Haul trucks entering a state versus leaving that state in a calendar year. The data is compiled using more than 2 million one-way U-Haul truck customer transactions. States like Colorado, Missouri, Nevada, they were also very high on the list. Joining California at the bottom of the states, those are Illinois, Massachusetts, Maryland, and Louisiana. Max Massey, KSAT 12 News.
In your morning consumer headlines, a social network Parler is back online after Amazon Web Services booted it a week ago. In a comeback message, the company's CEO wrote, quote, "Hello world, is this thing on?" This implies Parler has a new hosting platform. Amazon says it removed Parler after its far-right members made threats of violence. In his message, the CEO says Parler is supposed to be a forum that protects privacy and enables free speech.
Do you wish you were an Oscar Mayer wiener or that you could share the life of a Wienermobile driver? Well, then you're luck. Kraft Heinz looking for a team of so-called hot doggers to drive the 27-foot orange and yellow vehicle across the country. The lucky dogs who get hired will stop at more than 200 events, create social media content, and do news interviews. The company says it's looking for outgoing college grads with a love of adventure. Carl Meyer created the first Wienermobile back in 1936. The company also unveiled a Wiener fleet, including a hot dog-shaped drone in 2017, but canceled events last year due to COVID-19. At least once, I've seen the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile parked right here in front of the KSAT studios. Sarah
Always
Costa.
an exciting day when you see it parked out in front. Sounds like they need some hard-hitting journalists, reporters on that mobile to get down to the bottom of things.
The problem is it takes up every parking space outside the gate.
I know, it's a little annoying, but very worth the picture.
It is. Let's check traffic right now. Here is Samuel King with an update. We still have that issue out there at westbound 10 at De Zavala?
Yes, we do, Mark. It's still going on. But again, some of the lanes look like they've been opened here. You can see the traffic flow now to up to 47 miles per hour. But crews are still on the scene investigating that crash from earlier today. They are still here at 410 at Bandera Road. And you see that the flashing sign there, that means that there's some lanes blocked. And it's specifically the on-ramp onto 410. And let's take a look at that right now. You can see the tow crews are out there, so this will get cleared up pretty soon. But again, if you're at Bandera Road and Loop 410 and at Wurzbach, that area, that's something to watch out for this morning, guys.
Thank you, Samuel. Michael, that's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, the thing, greatest thing with this picture, I mean, sunset obviously, but look at that water. I mean, that is, it makes you want to whisper looking at it, but just glass. Fantastic. We're not going to be seeing any overly spectacular sunrises or sunsets the next few days because we've got a lot of clouds sliding on in here. And what's nice to see, though, is some rain in the next couple of days, and could have some decent rain in places. A few clouds are showing up right now, and just about an hour or so ago, most all reporting spots in our area were reporting clear skies, and now the clouds have started to kind of roll on in here. 41 degrees right now in town, 38 Bulverde, and just above freezing up the road in Comfort. Bernie Stage was down to right around freezing just not too long ago, but has now jumped up in temperatures, and you get that cloud cover moving on in here, and it's almost like a kind of like a blanket. So this model doesn't depict a whole lot of clouds throughout the day, but sort of scattered about, a mixture of sunshine and clouds. And then especially later on tonight, that's when the moisture really starts to come back on in here, and we are going to be seeing some rain around the area throughout the morning hours tomorrow, and then also throughout the day. And this line right here, that is the front that's going to be moving on through. Now, this is not one of those fronts that comes through and clears things out. It's just going to affect temperatures, basically. So warm today and warm tomorrow, then temperatures drop down on Wednesday, but we're still going to have rain around here. So it's going to be cold and wet on Wednesday. And the past couple of weeks, most all of our weather and what has been keeping us on the cool side, everything has been coming down here from the north, which you can kind of see on the water vapor imagery. But off there to the southwest, there is that trough developing out there, and that's what's really going to start to control our weather over the next couple of days. That low is going to develop out there. So this pattern, which has been kind of the wintry pattern, if you will, keeping us cooler, then does a kind of a 180, and that trough around the Great Lakes sort of flattens out a little bit, and we get that low developing out there to the west. So that's what's going to be sending all the little disturbances on in here. So despite the fact that we get that front moving through late tomorrow into Wednesday, on top of it, we still got this flow coming in here out of the southwest, and so that's why we keep clouds around, keep rain chances around going into Wednesday, tapering a little bit by Thursday, but I think we'll still see a shower or two early Thursday, and then going into the weekend, we're going to have a small chance for some rain as well. 62 at noon today. I'm calling it mostly cloudy skies or mixture of sunshine and clouds, and 70 for a high temperature. It's also going to be kind of on the breezy side today. Wind is going to be picking up out of the south, helping to pump all that moisture on in here. Then rain tomorrow, pretty much a sure thing, even a couple of thunderstorms around. 65, so just a little bit above normal. Behind that front, it's going to be cold and wet on Wednesday, 55 degrees. Then we go into the latter part of the week, maybe a shower or two, much lesser chances of rain, sort of a lull in the action, and then I think a slightly better chance going in toward the weekend. Overall, with the exception of Wednesday, it is going to be on the milder side, on the warmer side throughout most all of the week. A lot of clouds too.
Tomorrow, Wednesday, almost looked like the real deal, Mike.
Yeah, decent rain chances around here, so it's very encouraging.
We need the rain.
Yep.
Thank you, Mike. 5:53, 45 degrees.
We'll find out which movie is #1 in America in this weekend's box office results. That's up next.
Did you see that thing? Come back!
Monster Hunter finished in 5th place. The fantasy film scared up $920,000.
There's a horse.
Tom Hanks in News of the World came in 4th. The Western earned $1 million.
Nothing good is born from lies.
Wonder Woman 1984 fell to third place. The superhero adventure lassoed 1.9 million in ticket sales.
You see that wall? Yeah. You want to jump in? Yeah.
The animated sequel The Croods: A New Age stayed in second place with $2 million.
I'm from Pima County Merchants Bank. Let you know that the ranches be sold at auction.
I just need a little time to sort things out.
The Marksman hit the target, taking the top spot its debut weekend. The Liam Neeson thriller premiered with $3.2 million.
Okay, and that's a look at the weekend box office. If you feel tired, hopeless, or have an overall lack of motivation, you may have asked yourself if you are depressed. We'll tell you about some depression myths that need to be debunked. And we'll check back in with our traffic authority about this incident at 16 and Wurzbach. Also, the latest on any other trouble spots around the San Antonio metro area. We'll have a look at traffic and Mike's forecast coming up. COVID-19 vaccines that were supposed to be administered in San Antonio today are now being delayed. We will see when those who applied can get their shots.
45 degrees on this MLK Monday morning, but rain is on the way, according to Michael. Let us snow in just a bit.
Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
And good morning. As you just heard, it is Monday. It is January 18th.
Happy MLK Day. Thank you so much for starting your morning with us. And I hope everyone who has the day off gets to enjoy a little time off, like our Stephanie is taking off this morning. But I am so happy to be with you guys on this Monday morning, Mark.
You are just down the hall in Studio B. Back here in A, we check in with Mike Osterhage and talk about those updated rainfall chances for this week.
Well, yeah, they are definitely improving in the next couple of days. Almost, you sometimes hate saying a sure thing, but it's going to be close to that as far as rain chances. Now, right now, we had some clear skies overnight, had a few more clouds that decided to kind of slide on in here, and that has sort of held temperatures up somewhat. 38 Kerrville, 38 also Fredericksburg, Rock Springs 45. We are at 44 as of right now. And the allergens, Mountain Cedar on the high side, 860. Mold is low. And throughout the rest of the morning, I thought the temperatures may fluctuate ever so slightly. We were down to right around 42 degrees earlier this morning. Wind's going to start to pick up then out of the south at about 15, 20, 25 miles per hour. Be kind of breezy throughout the day. We'll make it up to 62 degrees today at noon. Overall, I guess call it kind of a mixture of sunshine and clouds. It is going to be mild like we had over the weekend, just not as pretty with those clouds. And clouds tend to thicken up overnight, and we'll start to see a couple of showers move in here overnight. And tomorrow morning's commute, this morning kind of dry. Tomorrow morning going to be a different story. More on that coming up in just a couple of minutes. Traffic Authority, Samuel King, and despite the fact that it is dry out there, well, you got an accident cleaning up out.
Yeah, that's cleaning up, so that's a good sign, Mike. This is at Bandera and Loop 410 here, and let's take a closer look at on the maps here. You can see the flow down to 37 miles per hour, a couple of lanes blocked, but as you saw there at the TransGuide picture, you see that they're cleaning that up, so that's a good thing there. Still have this situation here. This is I-10 at De Zavala Road. You can see the flow down to 50 miles per hour, still have a couple of lanes blocked. Crews still out there investigating a major crash this morning. And taking a look at travel times, if you're coming in from the west on I-10 from Burning, 24 minutes, 20 minutes on 90 from Castroville to the east. Good morning to you. And Seguin, 29 minutes if you were heading into downtown San Antonio today, 26 minutes heading into downtown on 35. Mark, back to you.
San Antonio police are investigating the location where a body was discovered early this morning.
That investigation is happening now in the 5600 block of Kenwick near Bandera near Leon Valley.
Stephen Cavazos is live with what we know. Stephen?
Good morning, Mark and Sarah. Now, we can tell you right now that that body is being moved here off the access road of Northwest Loop 410. We are still waiting to get information from the San Antonio Police Department, but what we can tell you right now is that there are several investigators here on the scene. It's unclear exactly what we are looking at. However, again, these roads here off Northwest Loop 410 have been blocked off as that investigation continues. So if this is in your route to work or somewhere else this morning, it may be wise to find an alternative route because it's unclear how long this investigation will last. You can stay with KSAT as we continue to bring you the very latest on this developing story. Mark, Sarah, over to you.
Thank you, Stephen. Well, new this morning, 2 fires broke out at one West Side home just hours apart. Fire crews were called back out to a home in the 2000 block of Harness and Rimfire off Loop 410, the same house where fire broke out last night. The San Antonio Fire Department arrived around 3:30 this morning to find the home fully engulfed in flames. The original fire caused about $10,000 in damage, but fire crews say this morning's fire has led to a total loss. Firefighters say it's still not clear if the fire rekindled, but investigators remain on scene and arson will arrive later this morning. No injuries were reported.
Also new this morning, a man's died after a crash on the south side. San Antonio police say it happened just after 11 last night at the corner of Commercial and Grosvenor. They say the man was driving a car, blew through a stop sign. His car was T-boned by a Via bus, causing the car to roll over and the man to be ejected. Police said the vehicle landed on top of the man and he died at the scene. 2 people on the bus had minor injuries but did not need medical attention.
Well, to the pandemic, local health officials report 1,676 new cases of COVID-19 here in Bexar County. 3 more people have died from this virus. Mayor Ron Nirenberg says the 7-day moving average is now at 2,071 cases a day. He says hospitalization numbers continue to stay at an increased level with more than 1,400 in the hospital. 130 people needed medical care in the past 24 hours.
Well, if you scheduled an appointment to get a COVID-19 vaccine today at the Alamo Dome, it has been pushed back to Wednesday. Mayor Ron Nirenberg saying about 9,000 doses headed for the Alamo Dome have been delayed by Pfizer. He says at this time they do not know why the delay happened, but they know it's critical during this point in the pandemic.
Our population is disproportionately vulnerable in the 1A and 1B categories. So we're doing, the community is showing what it needs to in order to get more vaccines distributed to San Antonio. We just need leaders to do that.
Mayor Nirenberg says those who are scheduled for today will be notified about the new vaccination date on Wednesday by phone or email.
Well, it isn't just San Antonio that is seeing a delay in COVID-19 vaccine. It's happening in cities all across the country as well.
And the pandemic not showing signs of slowing down just yet. Health experts say the U.S. could see 500,000 people dead from the virus by mid-February. ABC's Mona Kosar Abdi has more.
This morning, as hospitals struggle with a surge of COVID patients, they're also struggling with the chaotic vaccine rollout.
At this point in the pandemic, what's keeping you up at night?
Vaccine rolling out fast enough and people not getting too ahead of it.
Mass vaccination sites are popping up from Hard Rock Stadium to Citi Field, even Disneyland. But with a crippled rollout plan, appointments are now overbooked.
I'm hearing word that there is a shortage of trained medical personnel all over the place. And so we're going to have to look to see if different vaccine sites can start to train people. This is also going to take more funding and better coordination so people know when to show up to their appointments and where to go.
The government is pushing for at least 50 million doses to be distributed by the end of January. So far, only 31 million have gone out. With the transition of power in Washington just days away, Joe Biden's team is promising to address the vaccine bottlenecks.
We're inheriting a huge mess here, Jake, but we have a plan to fix it and to make that vaccine supply go farther.
And now, another challenge. At least 20 states have confirmed cases of that more contagious UK mutation of COVID-19. Hospitals in England are seeing a new patient every 30 seconds. Mona Kosar Abdi, ABC News, New York.
On his final full day in office, President Donald Trump plans to issue around 100 pardons and commutations. That's according to CNN. The president will reportedly pardon white-collar criminals, high-profile rappers, and others tomorrow. The White House held a meeting to finalize the list of pardons yesterday. The pardons are one of several items the president must complete before the end of his presidency on Wednesday.
In your morning consumer news, Facebook is blocking certain events through Inauguration Day. People will not be allowed to create any event taking place near the White House, the U.S. Capitol building, or state houses across the country. The goal is to keep the platform from being used to organize violent attacks.
Dating apps are purging users suspected of being a part of the Capitol riots. According to the Washington Post, Bumble, Tinder, and other dating apps are using images from the attack to identify and block people known to have participated.
And there's a wristband that lets your employer track your mood. The goal is to monitor how workers are coping while they're working from home. The Mood Beam has 2 buttons. One you press if you're happy, another if you're sad. The information goes to your manager in real time. There's not enough buttons. I'm very worried about that.
So the lack of buttons is pushing your buttons this morning.
Absolutely.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you, Sarah. Right now, 6:09, 46 degrees.
Well, after another full weekend of NFL football, we are now down to the final 4 teams this season. We will get a preview of Championship Sunday later on GMSA.
Indeed. This year's MLK March will look a little different. We'll see how local film be used to commemorate the life and legacy of that civil rights icon.
Speaking of mood, the weather has a big impact on it. Will these clouds, will they go away? Will the sun come out? Will things warm up? And will we have some much needed rain? Mike will let us know when we come back.
6:13 right now. Every year, hundreds of thousands of people march in the name of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. on San Antonio's east side. But today, here in the Alamo City, things are going to look a lot different than most years.
While the pandemic has undoubtedly affected the 52-year tradition, the MLK Commission tells our Max Massey why this year was more important than ever to make sure the march happens in some form or fashion.
This past year, with the killing of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, it's important that we continue to celebrate the life and legacy of Dr. King.
Like most events in the past year, the city's annual MLK March, one of the largest in the country, is going virtual.
We kind of knew we were not going to be able to social distance 300,000 people come January 2021.
Renee Watson, the commission chair for the march, says although safety is paramount, the march has always been about the issues, leaving no time for rest this year. DACA
is an issue for our community. Black Lives Matter is an issue for our community. We have a lot of issues that we're still dealing with. The issue of this ravaging COVID in underserved communities that we have. So all of those issues are still issues that Dr. King would have been looking at.
So Watson initiated a native filmmaker to replicate the feeling of marching to Pittman Sullivan Park.
You're going to hear from activists. You're going to hear from faith leaders. You're going to hear from community leaders. You're going to see those performances that you've always loved to come out and see.
Smith says he's been a part of the march for as long as he can remember. Now he's tasked with creating a unique experience he hopes will last for years to come, and he hopes will inspire San Antonians to continue the dream.
I think that if we had not made a film this year and the march was just completely canceled, you lose momentum, right? This is a moment. This is a moment again for people to get out and fight. This is a moment for people to really get out and get involved in their community, to get involved with the issues that really matter. And I think that when they watch this film, they're going to feel charged and challenged to get out there and do it.
Max Massey, KSAT 12 News.
Smith and Watson also encourage people to eat, shop, and hire local to help with the financial burden the pandemic has put on vendors and organizations that would otherwise be part of the festivities.
The film debuts today. You can live stream it on the City of San Antonio's Facebook and YouTube page beginning at 10 this morning.
Right now, it is 6:15.
We're going to check in with Samuel King with our traffic authority.
Hey, good morning, Sarah and Mark. And we still have this situation that Stephen Cavazos was just at here. This is at Bandera at Loop 410. The on-ramp from Bandera onto 410 has been closed, but it looks like in the past few minutes or so, they are letting some traffic through after they towed the vehicle that was involved there. Still have this situation on I-10 West at De Zavala, so that's something to watch out for as well this morning. And a little bit later this morning, the construction's going to resume here on Alamo Ranch Parkway between 1604 and Lone Star Parkway, part of a work to improve things out there. And let's take a look at the TransGuide view. You can see now this is 16 Bandera at Wurzbach, right near that area where we had that incident earlier this morning. You can see not much traffic there, but at least one of those lanes are open this morning. Mark and Sarah?
All right, thank you, Samuel. Mike, we have to check in what's happening right now because it's in bold-faced letters behind you.
Oh, yeah, it kind of puts me on the spot.
Yeah,
well,
it does.
right now.
Yeah, don't focus on later. Do right now.
44 degrees. And notice how temperatures actually have been going up slightly in the past couple of hours because we've got some clouds that have been sliding on in here, and that acts like a little bit of a blanket. The air relative to temperature is still fairly dry, but that top number is going to start to go up throughout the course of the day today. And the wind, which is basically non-existent right now, is definitely going to start to pick up. Love this picture. This photographer has been sending a few of these from the 360 bridge over there in Austin, different angles and vantage points and everything, but that's very cool looking. That very graceful arch right there. Thank you very much for the KSAT Connect picture. All right, looking outside, and you may be able to notice it in this vantage point, a little bit of some cloudiness out there. Like I said, we had some clear skies earlier this morning, but those clouds started to move on in. And as we were talking about with the humidity, the dew point temperatures, they're very low as of right now, but winds do start to pick up out of the south. And by later on this afternoon, we're really going to start to see humidity coming back up in here. So we get these dew points back up into the mid upper 50s and even some low 60s around the area. So that's going to be helping out with cloud cover and also feeding some showers tomorrow, late tonight, maybe starting off, but then throughout the day tomorrow. Also, though, right along that line, there's another front that's going to be working its way through here throughout the afternoon hours. That's going to shift the wind. Usually, or a lot of times, you think of, okay, that front's going to come through and just clear us on out. That's not the situation this time around, because this is all down here at the surface. Upstairs in the atmosphere, we are still going to have a nice flow coming in here out of the southwest. And so that's what's going to help to keep the clouds around, which you can see on this computer model. So we get this mixture of sunshine and clouds throughout the day, clouds thicken up overnight. We get some rain around here tomorrow morning, and then watch throughout the afternoon hours. There's that line right there. That was the front moving on through, but we still have all this flow coming in here from the southwest. So it's kind of the overrunning. We have cool air down here at the surface, cloudy skies, and rain coming on in here. And so Wednesday is going to be just kind of a wet, cold day. Tomorrow's going to be wet and on the warmer side. Wednesday will be the only really cold day because we're going to be back up into the mid 60s then by Thursday. And then back up into the upper 60s, close to 70 by the latter part of the week and the weekend. Rainiest days, or the best chances of rain, are going to be tomorrow and then Wednesday. Today, we'll just have sort of a mixture of sunshine and clouds throughout the day. Call it, times mostly cloudy skies. 62 at noon, 70 for a high today. It's also going to be breezy. Wind out of the south at about 15, 20, 25 miles per hour, some gusts at times, and then clouds really thicken up tonight. We get the chance for some rain to move on in here. So tomorrow, pretty much sure thing we're going to be seeing showers, even a couple of thunderstorms, mid 60s. Then that front moves through, only mid 50s on Wednesday. Temperatures will stay basically steady overnight and then back up into the mid 60s Thursday, Friday. A shower or two here or there, and then a little bit better chance, excuse me, for a couple of showers around the area as we go in toward the weekend. But like I said, the rainiest 2 days of the week are going to be tomorrow as well as Wednesday.
This week's forecast kind of makes you forget that it's, still late January here in South Texas, Mike. Yeah, exactly. I mean, last week, think about it. We had those lows down in the 30s, and really cold in the morning, staying cool in the afternoons. And yeah, this week is definitely going to be on the milder side. But as we always say, February is yet to come. That can always be a squirrely month. Oh,
squirrely.
Yes, super squirrely. Squirrely means icy sometimes.
Possibly.
Okay, thank you, Mike. 620, 46 degrees.
Well, a teenager who spent weeks in jail for breaking quarantine in the Cayman Islands is now back on American soil. Find out more in today's GMA First Look.
Here's your secret word of the day. Enter it on KSAT.com/Circle K for a monthly chance to win free gas for a year. Every entry wins a medium coffee. Win with Circle K and GMSA.
Pain hits fast, so get relief fast. Only Tylenol Rapid Release Gels have laser-drilled holes. They release medicine fast for fast pain relief. Tylenol Rapid Release Gels.
Okay, everyone. Our mission is to provide complete balanced nutrition for strength and energy.
Great tasting Ensure with 9 grams of protein, 27 vitamins and minerals, and nutrients to support immune health.
Stress Balls Gummies with herbal ashwagandha help turn this stressed life into your best life. Stress less, live more with Stress Balls.
At Philadelphia, we know what makes the perfect smear of cream cheese. You need only the freshest milk and cream. That one. And the world's best, and possibly only, Chamelier. Philadelphia, schmear perfection.
In this morning's GMA First Look, back on American soil.
Skylar, how do you feel to be back in the U.S.?
Very excited. Skylar Mack, the 18-year-old sentenced to 2 months behind bars in the Cayman Islands for breaking quarantine rules, is out of prison. Mack traveled to the Caribbean island November 27th and, per island rules, was required to quarantine for 14 days. But after 2 days in isolation and a negative COVID test, Skylar removed her wrist monitor, breaching quarantine to watch her boyfriend, a professional jet skier, compete in a race. But after a legal back and forth, the couple was sentenced to 2 months in prison. And coming up at 7 a.m., we'll tell you more about how Skylar Mack is adjusting to life outside her jail cell. With your GMA First Look, I'm Janae Norman, ABC News, Atlanta.
The San Antonio Spurs back in action today, going back on the road after 2 games here at home. Spurs will play Portland this afternoon. Tip-off starts at 2 on Fox Sports Southwest. Be sure to watch KSAT for the latest highlights and reactions.
Pro football coverage powered by Davis Law Firm.
In the NFL, we're now down to 4 teams left of the playoffs. Yesterday, 2 youngest quarterbacks in the league facing off against each other. Baker Mayfield and the Browns taking on Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Both quarterbacks 25 years old. After starting off with a 16-point lead, there was trouble for the Chiefs in the second half. Mahomes ran the ball, tackled hard. He would have to leave the game due to concussion protocol on this play right here. Browns would end up coming within 5 points. Chiefs were able to run out the clock after converting a 4th down late in the game. KC heads to the conference championship, and Chiefs head coach Andy Reid says Mahomes is doing well. From the 2 youngest quarterbacks in the league to the 2 oldest, 43-year-old Tom Brady leading the Bucs against 42-year-old Drew Brees and the Saints. Game went back and forth last night with the team swapping leads until the 4th. The Buccaneers defense held strong to close it out. Saints fall 30-20 at home. Brees had 3 interceptions in the game, which led to 17 points for Tampa. Meanwhile, Tom Brady threw for 200 yards and 2 touchdowns on the way to his 14th career conference championship game, the first in the NFC. So the stage is now set up for Championship Sunday at 2 p.m. Sunday. Buccaneers will head to Wisconsin to play the Packers. Green Bay is favored, especially when you factor in the weather. It'll be about 28 degrees at kickoff with the possibility of snow during that game. Then the afternoon game, Buffalo travels to Kansas City to try to knock off the defending Super Bowl champs. It is still unclear if Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes will play, despite initial reports. As we said, he's doing well. Kickoff for the AFC Championship scheduled for 5:30 p.m. on Sunday.
You have a favorite team, Mark?
I'm happy with all 4 of these teams. I think there's going to be some great conference championship games on Sunday.
Good games last night as well.
Yes.
All right, 627, 46 degrees.
Security around the inauguration is tightening amid reports there are threats from within National Guard members tasked with keeping everyone safe. We'll see how security officials are responding.
Take a look outside with TransGuide. That's I-10 at De Zavala. It's been an eventful morning on this MLK Day, even though it is a holiday day and a lot of people have it off. We've seen a lot of incidents out there. Traffic Samuel King will keep us updated throughout the morning.
Washington is on high alert with 2 days to go until President-elect Biden's inauguration. I'm ABC's Elizabeth Schulze. The latest on the security efforts coming up.
Outside with live cam, some clouds. We've got cool temperatures. Mike's going to talk about our updated rainfall chances as we kick off the work week for some. But it is a holiday. Good morning, everybody. It is Monday, January 18th, MLK Day. Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning, Mark, and good morning to our viewers. Thank you so much for waking up with us. Even if you have the day off, I hope everyone enjoys their MLK Day. And it's kind of a cloudy one out there, but no rain today, Mike, correct?
Correct. We will start to see a couple of showers, maybe late tonight in the overnight hours. But this morning, it's just the clouds have sort of tried to slide on in here. We had some clear skies earlier, but that's the clouds moving on in. It's acting like a little bit of a blanket, so we've actually gone up a couple of degrees, and no wind right now, but wind is definitely going to be picking up throughout the rest of the afternoon, and we're going to see kind of breezy conditions, wind out of the south at say 15, 20, 25 miles per hour. But with that south to southeasterly breeze, that's going to not only help to warm things up, but also pull in a lot more moisture around here. Mountain cedars on the high side, although a whole lot lower than what it was late last week when it just skyrocketed with some of those northerly winds. Mold is on the low side, and throughout the rest of today, warm and breezy. And again, the clouds continue to kind of stick around here. I think we'll have a mixture of clouds and sun at times, but definitely they will be increasing. Then overnight, like I said, the chance for some rain. And rain pretty much, I hate to say a sure thing, but close to a sure thing tomorrow. Showers, a couple of thunderstorms, and then a front's going to move through late in the afternoon, but that's not going to be clearing things out because we'll have an overrunning situation, which just means it's going to be cold and wet on Wednesday. Then we're going to start to warm up a little bit toward the end of the week, and then we got another chance for some rain. Not as good of a chance of rain, but just another couple of showers around here over the weekend. All those details in just a couple of minutes. Traffic authorities, Samuel King, and boy, you still got a bunch of accidents out there, and it's a holiday today.
Right. It's of all the days to have this much activity on the roads, but we do have it this morning. The good thing is traffic is still relatively light. We've been talking about the situation here at Bandera and Loop 410. Looks like the ramp from Bandera Road to 410 has opened. At least some lanes are open after this police investigation out here. So expect this might be clearing shortly. We're hearing that some of the law enforcement people are leaving the scene. We have a new crash. This is a military at Ellison, very close to 151. But again, you can see a very light traffic flow there. And we've had this situation this morning here at 10 at De Zavala. But look there. You can see the traffic is flowing again, and let's take a look at that on TransGuide. There it is there. You can see whatever investigation or people out there is gone. And here's a look at some travel times. Pretty much green all around except for 281 coming in from Belle Verde. 24 minutes if you're coming in on I-10 from Bernie this morning. Mark, Sarah, over to you.
Thank you, Samuel. Well, new this morning, Castle Hills police say one man is in the hospital after crashing his car into the metal dividers on an exit ramp. They say it happened around 1 this morning on the off ramp from Loop 410 to Blanco. Police say the man was drinking and driving, which led to the crash. He was taken to University Hospital and is expected to recover.
Woman is facing charges at DWI this morning after police say she caused a rollover crash. San Antonio police say she was driving on Babcock near Wurzbach just before 2 this morning. She crashed into an SUV with a car, causing the SUV to roll over. One person in the SUV was taken to University Hospital. We do not know that person's condition.
A massive security operation is in place in Washington, D.C. ahead of President-elect Joe Biden's inauguration Wednesday.
Nation's capital is on virtual lockdown, with authorities saying a peaceful transfer of power is the top priority.
ABC's Elizabeth Schulze has the latest.
2 days to go until President-elect Joe Biden's inauguration, a fortified Washington on high alert. Streets blocked, barricades set up, and thousands of National Guard members on patrol.
This mission is about protecting our republic itself.
Up to 25,000 National Guard members will be in D.C. this week, some setting up cots inside the Capitol, each one getting vetted because of concerns about a potential insider threat. Authorities warn domestic extremists are the biggest risk, not just in Washington, but at state capitals nationwide.
How serious is our country going to take domestic white extremism? And I think what we saw here last week is that we didn't take it seriously enough.
The Capitol building's perimeter tested over the weekend, with at least 3 people arrested in separate incidents, including 2 men carrying guns and ammunition. And now new footage of the insurrection filmed by the New Yorker's Luke Mogelson. Rioters looking for lawmakers banging on doors.
Defend your Constitution! Defend your liberty! Defend your Constitution! Defend your liberty!
A Capitol police officer begging the mob to leave the Senate chamber.
Okay, I just want to let you guys know this is like the sacredest place. I know. Hey, no, I'm going to take it.
That man, Jacob Angeli, now arrested along with dozens of others. The FBI says it's combing through more than 150,000 pieces of digital evidence as investigations into the insurrection continue. And rehearsals for President-elect Biden's inauguration are set to begin today after they were delayed because of security concerns. Elizabeth Schulze, ABC News, Washington.
President-elect Biden adding to his incoming administration just days before he becomes the nation's 46th president. Biden expects to nominate Gary Gensler to serve as commissioner of the Securities and Exchange Commission and Rohit Chopra to lead the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Gensler is a former Goldman Sachs executive, known for being a ferocious advocate for stricter regulation on big banks. Chopra is currently a member of the Federal Trade Commission. If confirmed, he'll return to the CFPB, where he worked previously as its top student loan watchdog.
Well, in Indonesia, officials report at least 81 people have died following a magnitude 6.2 earthquake last week. The earthquake also caused landslides, trapping people in their homes while they were sleeping. The National Disaster Management Agency says that search and rescue missions are still underway. To avoid the spread of COVID-19 there, authorities have deployed rapid antigen tests for anyone displaced in evacuation camps. They have also separated those at high risk in the camps.
72 players now in quarantine ahead of the Australian Open after a positive COVID test on board 3 flights. 9 people linked to the tournament have tested positive for COVID. That does include 1 unnamed player currently in quarantine. Despite all this, the tournament will go ahead as planned.
And the NAACP's Legal Defense Fund is launching a scholarship program to create a generation of civil rights lawyers. The association says a single anonymous donor gave $40 million to the fund. The program says it will pay the education costs of 50 students at law schools around the country. In return, those lawyers must commit to 8 years of civil rights legal work in the South. The NAACP will announce how to apply for the scholarship when it opens its new office in Atlanta.
In your morning consumer news, a court in Seoul, South Korea has ruled that the heir to the Samsung empire, Jay Lee, must serve 2.5 years in jail for embezzlement and bribery. The decision came over a 2015 merger of 2 of the company's affiliates. Lee was previously found guilty of bribery and other charges back in 2017, but his sentence was reduced and later suspended after an appeal.
The automotive world has a new supergroup. Fiat Chrysler and France-based Group PSA completed their merger over the weekend. Group is the owner of popular European brands such as Peugeot. The new company, called Stellantis, I hope I said that right, is now the 3rd biggest car maker in the world by sales, only behind Toyota and Volkswagen.
And you did. Thank you, Sarah. BP and Shell now say groceries and coffee becoming a bigger part of their bottom line. Both companies say that fuel sales are slipping, which makes sales at gas station convenience stores more important than ever. Both say they plan to add thousands of locations as well.
And you can celebrate the life and accomplishments of Martin Luther King Jr. today virtually. You can live stream a film put together by the MLK Commission and a local filmmaker this morning at 10 on the City of San Antonio's Facebook and YouTube pages. This year's celebration may have a different feel to them as well. In 2020, the U.S. faced racial tensions similar to those Dr. King experienced during his lifetime. America also said goodbye to civil rights activist and King's friend John Lewis. Many in San Antonio and across the nation will give back as part of a day of service, much like the 2 men did when they were alive.
Right now at 6:40, 47 degrees.
Well, if you feel tired, hopeless, or have an overall lack of motivation, you may have asked yourself if you are depressed. Ignoring the signs or going untreated can be dangerous to your health and well-being. After the break, the depression myths to leave behind.
"2020 may have you feeling depressed, so don't let these myths convince you that you're making it up. Myth number 1, it's all in my head. I'm just sad. MRI studies have shown that depression causes physiological changes in the brain that stop it from registering pleasurable activities. Myth number 2, all depression looks the same. There are many different phases of depression, ranging from this to this. Depressive episodes may be extreme and short, or subtle and constant. There is no wrong way to experience it.
You're not taking your medication every day like you should be.
Myth number 3.
Side effects?
Medication is the only treatment. Antidepressants work great for some people, but There's also other options like talk therapy, lifestyle changes, and holistic approaches.
And then choosing to namaste.
Myth number 4, I need to deal with this alone.
A lot of people like myself don't talk to others about what they're going through. They feel it's a personal issue, they're going to seem weak, or it's none of the above.
Services like Talkspace and BetterHelp allow you to start therapy online via chat. If you or a loved one is in more serious need of help, most therapists are now offering sessions via Zoom or Skype to adapt to this pandemic. And remember, the National Suicide Prevention Hotline is available 24/7. Max Massey, KSAT 12 News.
6:45.
We're going to check in with Samuel. It's been a busy morning out there with your traffic authority.
Yes, it has, Sarah and Mark, but things starting to clear. We see we've removed the marker there on I-10 at De Zavala, so that's a good thing. But we still have this situation at Bandera Road near Loop 410. We have police investigation out there, so there's still some delays to watch out for. And taking a look at the travel times between 1604 and 410, more of an issue northbound right now, 11 minutes between 410 and 1604. 9 minutes the other way. And here's a look at TransGuide. This is the view from 410 and Rolling Ridge. You see there in the corner, there's still there's that police vehicle there, but things are starting to move. So things improving just a little bit. Guys.
Thank you, Samuel. Restaurants have regular customers. GMSA has regular viewers like Yvonne Cherney.
Yes, indeed. Likes to take a lot of pictures. Hey, if you're out and about, take those KSAT Connect pictures. We love to see them. This is a great shot there. Again, when was the last time you went to Breckenridge? Because there's the driving bridge, which is also kind of a combination dam if you've never been across it. And right there along the curb is actually kind of sawtooth, if you will. And so it actually, the dam and the water just flows right across there. So there's this little trickle of water right across that you drive through right there. Very pretty picture. I love the angle on that one. Thank you very much, Yvonne. All right. Well, it's starting to lighten up a little bit out there, but we have had a lot of clouds move on in, and so that has held temperatures up. And again, the humidity is definitely going to be going up throughout the day. So you'll kind of notice it a bit more later on this afternoon. That's going to help with the cloud cover, and then eventually that's going to help out with the rain. But then also watch what happens as we go into tomorrow. Here's some of this drier air moving in here, but don't be fooled by that. That's going to come through. That's the front that moves on through. But again, I got to emphasize, this is not one of those situations where a lot of times front comes through and just sweeps everything out and not a lot of clear skies after that. That's not, again, going to be the situation here because, and you watch with the computer model with the cloud cover, as the clouds thicken up overnight, and we will have some rain around here tomorrow. And then as we go through the afternoon, right about in there's that front that moved on through, but we still have clouds and some showers. And then watch how everything comes in here from the south and southwest. And that's going to be overnight tomorrow night into Wednesday. Some showers, even a couple of thunderstorms. We have kind of the overrunning situation where cool air down here at the surface, clouds, rain over top of that. And so Wednesday is going to be one of those sort of raw days. I mean, just about low to mid 50s, and it is going to be wet. And then things will start to kind of break up a little bit, clear on out, if you will, as we go into Thursday and Friday. But then another rain chance, I think, is going to be coming back on in here by the weekend. So if you watch the satellite picture, you can kind of see right in here some of those low clouds that move in right at the very end of this loop right there. So we've got those clouds around, and they'll be holding pretty tough. I think we'll see some sunshine mixed in today, but not a whole lot of it. A lot of cold air, obviously, up to the north. And here's this kind of northwesterly flow, which we're in right now. And not anything, I mean, it's cold out there, but we're going to see kind of an overall pattern shift as we go into the weekend. So this, at least for us, is going to be kind of the anomaly, if you will, because we're going to definitely be on the warmer side throughout most all of the week, with that one exception on Wednesday. 62 today at noon, mostly cloudy skies, and then a high temperature today up to 70 and partly sunny, a little bit of sunshine thrown on in here. It is going to be mild, a little more humidity, breezy, wind out of the south, 15, 20, 25 miles per hour. And then tomorrow, very good chance for some rain, and you can see 65 degrees, 55 on Wednesday with a pretty good shot at some showers around here. And so it's going to be cold and wet. And then we get on into the Thursday, Friday, not bad weekend, a little bit better chance, not great chance of some rain. And it is overall, again, with the exception of Wednesday, definitely going to be on the warm side this week. So kind of un-January-ish.
Un-January.
Un-January-ish.
That's a new word. Just.
And February is going to be squirrely.
It can be. I mean, if you've been here long enough, you know that we can go from one extreme to the other and all sorts of things in February.
I remember several Valentine's Day that it was icy outside.
Yep.
Sure.
Not just in your heart.
Not just in my heart. I don't know. It's true. 650 right now. Your size is too small. 650, 47 degrees.
Okay, with COVID-19 vaccines, businesses and schools are considering how to safely resume in-person operations. Tomorrow on GMSA, how the country's biggest tech firms and healthcare facilities are returning to normal.
To be fair, I teed that up. I wanted to see who would take a swing at it.
Oh, I swung.
Yes, you did. Nice drive, Sarah Acosta. Outside with Live Cam, the news you need to know before you go is coming up.
Good morning. Coming up here on GMA, the nation on high alert just 2 days until President-elect Biden's inauguration. And this morning, there are new concerns as the Capitol nears lockdown. At least 21 states have activated National Guard troops, plus new videos are emerging from inside that angry mob that stormed the People's House on the 6th. The commanding general of the D.C. National Guard is going to join us live with how they're preparing to prevent new unrest. You'll see that and so much more coming up right here on GMA.
In the news you need to know before you go, one man is dead after a crash on the south side. San Antonio police say it happened just after 11 last night at the corner of Commercial Avenue in Grosvenor. They say the man was driving a car and blew through a stop sign. His car was T-boned by a Via bus, causing the car to roll over and the man to be ejected. Police say the vehicle landed on top of the man and he died on the scene. 2 people on the bus had minor injuries but did not need medical attention.
Arson investigators looking at 2 fires that broke out at the same West Side home just hours apart. Fire crews called back out to a home in the 2000 block of Harness and Rimfire off 410. Same home where a fire broke out last night. The original blaze caused about $10,000 in damage, but fire crews say this morning's fire has led to a total loss. Firefighters say it's still not clear if the fire rekindled, but arson investigators will arrive later this morning to try to figure that out. No injuries were reported.
All right, we're going to check in with Samuel King.
Thank you, Sarah. And Mark, still have this police investigation here at Bandera at 410. And let's take a look at that on TransGuide. You can see this is the view from 410 and Rolling Ridge. That ramp closed off, so that's something to watch out for there. Taking a look at some travel times this morning, 25 minutes on I-10 from Bernie, 26 minutes on 35 from New Braunfels, 17 minutes on 35 from Lytle, Mike.
Here's a good example of what a blanket of clouds does for you. As you can see, we don't really have too much of a glow of the morning sunrise. We're up to 47 right now. We started already to warm up. Still kind of chilly up there in Comfort. And throughout the rest of today, 62 at noon. Plenty of clouds today. A little bit of sunshine here and there. 70. Going to be breezy. Wind out of the south, 15, 20 miles per hour. And then rain the next couple of days.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you. Sarah, it's been good having you with us this morning.
Yeah.
Thank you. Y'all have a good day. We'll see you back here at GMSA at 9.